welcome to this week's edition of the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Colin Likas. I'm joined in studio today by Butler men's tennis coach Parker Ross and team member Billy Weldon. Before I talk to them, let's take a look at how the team has done thus far in its fall season.
Tennis may be known as a spring sport, but for the Butler men's tennis team, the season never stops.
Good.
This fall, the squad has competed in 3 invitationals, holding a winning record in both singles and doubles.
Without the fall, it would be really hard to know going into the spring where all your players stand and where the other teams stand. So it's kind of it's a preseason, it's a good gauge so that you can get off to a good start right in January, right away, and not have to kind of work your way through the season and feel it out.
Last year, the men won just 4 matches. Sophomore Austin Woldmo says his team will learn from this fall and continue to improve before spring season begins in January.
Our team should strive to improve our record from last year, and I think that should be our team goal overall. Definitely over 500 this year, and I think we need to pinpoint some matches in which we feel like, we should win.
The Bulldogs have a young roster with only 6 sophomores and 2 freshmen, but even more importantly, they have a new head coach, Ross Parker.
The one thing that we look for in a coach is just having a coach that's eager to be out there and excited and just as fired up as we are. And because it's his first year and he's young, he seems so happy to be out here, so pumped up. He's getting us all fired up, and I think that's a key element to the success of the team this year.
A familiar face, Coach Ross was a Butler tennis standout graduating in 2006. He played for legendary coach Jason Susha and also coached under Susha for the past 2 seasons.
The change was good. If it was someone entirely new, I probably wouldn't know, how to take that as well as I did now. But with Parker being the coach, I feel like it's just a benefit for the team.
I've got a great young team that loves to work hard, and they're eager, and I'm eager, and so we're all ready to kind of go forward in this thing together.
Butler will head to Memphis on October 19th for its last fall invitational. For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Becca Bornhorst.
I'm now joined by first-year head coach of the men's tennis team, Parker Ross, and sophomore team member Billy Weldon. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Parker, the team just completed its 3rd of 4 fall tournaments at Ball State over the weekend. You guys picked up several singles and doubles wins. How did you feel the team performed over the weekend?
I felt that we did good, but not great. We lost a few matches to schools like Ball State or Louisville, those, mid-majors and bigger schools that I guess we're supposed to lose, but I'd like to start winning those matches. And we beat pretty much all the teams that we were kind of expected to. So, I'd like us to kind of get over that hump and beat some of those teams that maybe on paper are a little more challenging.
Sure. And Billy, you teamed up with Austin Woldmo in doubles action. You guys won 3 matches. How were you guys able to come together and have so much success?
We work pretty well together as a team, and we have the experience of playing doubles together last year, which definitely is a positive impact on the court now because we kind of know and trust each other out there on the court. But, it just comes from practicing together and knowing that we're going to be in the right spot, and we just have to be ready for what's about to entail.
All right. This question's for both of you. Parker, we'll start with you. What have you guys been focusing on in the fall season, as it's not your dual season? Your dual season isn't until the spring. So what have you guys been focusing on? How do you feel it's gone so far overall?
Just getting better, as individually getting better. So, tennis is an individual sport. And then college, it's a team format. So you have practice as a team, but we're trying to get each player individually to play their best tennis and be in the best shape they can. So literally, I just told the guys, just get better this fall. I don't really care about wins and losses, or, I didn't set a goal of how many wins. I just want us to improve, get a lot of match play in, and get in better shape, and just doing a lot of conditioning and weightlifting. And the fall is for us, a great season just to get ready for the spring. Our goal eventually is to have, teams maybe who can get into the fall nationals and do well in the fall regionals. And so our goal, like maybe their senior year, would be to, do a little bit more in the fall. But right now, it's just a great preseason for the spring.
Okay. And Billy, if you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, as a member of the team, we all know like specifically what we need to be working on, and it's just important that we kind of aren't concerned about the win-losses per se, although it is important, but it's also really important just to focus on what you need to improve on, because the spring is kind of the heavier portion of the season, and that's when you need to be at your at the highest peak of your game for sure.
Right. Now, Parker, this is your first year as the head coach of the Bulldogs. You're replacing Jason Susha, who was with the program for 16 years. Can you describe the process by which you kind of ended up in this position?
Yeah, it's kind of a unique process. It's not the typical coach's path, that's for sure. I graduated here in '06, and I moved back to Chicago. I was doing consulting for a few years and traveling and just living in a big city. I loved it, but you know, it wasn't really for me after all, and I kind of gravitated back towards Indianapolis first, worked some odd jobs, and then you know, got engaged to my now wife, and started getting back involved in tennis, I believe in '09. I think, and doors just kind of kept on opening for me. I was first just working with juniors, and then, you know, got back to being the assistant here at Butler, and you know, just got really involved with the team and with the coaching process, and then kind of felt that there was going to be a transition soon. So I just did everything I could to, you know, just be the best assistant I could be and position myself as well as I can to eventually take over the program. And to be honest with you, I didn't think it would happen this soon, but here I am, you know, a young head coach here at Butler, and I consider myself very lucky.
And you said you graduated from Butler in '06, but your path here was a little different than most. You didn't quite start out here. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I was at a big school, University of Iowa, and you know, I liked it, but I realized that, you know, I needed to kind of be in a smaller environment, and the tennis fit there wasn't as good as it was here. Here I could come to a team where we were perennially the conference champions, and so we played in the NCAA tournament twice when I was here, and it was a great experience learning from Coach Susha. So yeah, I mean, both paths were a little bit unusual, I guess, but you know, in hindsight, it just, you know, it all worked out.
Yeah. And Billy, obviously your first year you played under Jason Susha, and now you're playing underneath Parker here. What has been the difference between their two coaching styles? What differences have you noticed?
I mean, honestly, since he did learn a lot from being under Susha for so many years, it hasn't been a major transition as far as coaching changes have been. It's been extremely smooth, and it's been just minor changes in the practice, the way that we approach practice and the way that we approach matches and stuff like that. So just to focus on, I mean, working hard and making sure that you're getting the most out of every practice and making sure that you're getting the most of every match. But by and large, it's, I mean, for the most part, a similar Butler experience, because, I mean, they both do believe in the Butler way, and I mean, it is a pretty similar approach to tennis.
Okay. So the team is made up of sophomores and freshmen this year. Can you guys both kind of talk about how that team dynamic, how you kind of work with that, and if that kind of changes the way that you guys practice and compete?
Yeah, it's definitely a unique experience because we're all learning together and we're all growing together as a team, whereas in most team situations you have those upperclassmen and those guys that have already kind of learned ways to handle situations and kind of show you the pathways to handle, I mean, different matches and stuff like that. But with us, we're all in this together and we're learning for the first time, and it's a unique experience too because we're all maturing together, and we can, I mean, junior, senior year, we're gonna be pretty tough, and I mean, even this year, we all have at least 1 year under our belt except for our one freshman. So, I mean, we are confident that we are gaining experience together, and I mean, it's unique, but it's kind of a cool team dynamic too.
Sure. Yeah. You have anything to add to that, Parker?
Yeah, it's exciting for me because I have a young team that's excited to get better every day because they know that they have to and that they can. And, you know, I'm working on the developmental style, like when I get a player, how to develop them. And I have a couple of years to figure out my recruiting style, which is the other big part of this. So it's good that I kind of didn't just land in a situation where I have like 4 or 5 seniors and there's not really any development I can do anymore, and I have to start reloading. So I'm really excited for this year, and especially next year and the year after too.
Sure. Now you guys are heading down to the ITA regionals in Tennessee in a couple weeks. What are your plans for that meet? What are you guys hoping to do there?
Well, there's the best, all the schools in the region, but some of the best schools in the nation are going to be there. Tennessee, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Louisville. So it's an opportunity for us to play against schools that we haven't seen all fall and probably won't see that much during the spring.
Sure.
So I'm excited for that because nobody really knows, who we are and how we play. Conversely, I think we can go in there and just expect to face tough competition, but maybe surprise a few people and make some deep runs in the doubles and singles draws.
Sure. And Billy, you and Austin Wolmo had a pretty good run at the regionals last year. Can you, if you guys play together again down there this year, can you talk about how you'll have success?
I mean, it's just making sure that we capitalize on opportunities and are focused on from that first point of the match, just because the doubles matches are such a short match compared to the singles matches. You have to go into the matches completely energized and just capitalize on every opportunity that you can, because in all reality, the regional tournament is a pretty big opportunity, and it is a place where you can, make some upsets and stuff like that. So, the whole tournament as itself is just a place where you can, it's just an opportunity. There's no pressure, stuff like that. You're just there to upset some of the bigger schools and see what you can do, and just go in there with confidence and see what turns out.
All right. And we talked a little bit about the spring season. Obviously, it's a ways off, but you guys will be moving from the Horizon League to the Atlantic 10, as most Butler athletic teams will. Can you kind of talk about maybe what matches you're looking forward to as a result of that move, and kind of how you're approaching the change in conferences?
Well, we don't have to play an Atlantic 10 regular season, so we actually only have 3 matches that are A10, Xavier, Dayton, and then St. Louis, who we've never played. The years going forward, I plan on scheduling more, matches where 3 or 4 teams can meet, like in a city, like in Pittsburgh where Duquesne is, and then we can get VCU and George Washington to come. But for the conference tournament, it's very exciting because we get to play at a professional tennis venue in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few players from Ohio, so we're going to be having some fans coming over there, and we're playing at this this top-notch facility instead of North Central High School, which, no offense to that, but this is like stadium courts, and so that's pretty exciting.
Sure. Yeah, anything to add to that, Billy?
As in regards to A10 play, a lot of the team makeup of the A10 are guys that we've seen from our junior tournaments before going to college, so it is kind of a different just transition now that you're playing against people that you kind of know their game styles and stuff like that, and it's just a different competitive aspect because you've seen these same people your whole life, so it'll be kind of interesting, and new rivalries will definitely form, and I don't know, I'm excited for the season, and yeah.
Sure. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank Parker and Billy for joining me again. For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Colin Likas.
Hi everybody, I'm Bethany Werge, and this is your Bulldog Blitz scoreboard. The football team welcomed Dayton to the Butler Bowl last weekend, posting a 21-11 win over the Flyers Saturday afternoon. Junior running back Trey Heater was also named Pioneer League Offensive Player of the Week, rushing for 159 yards and a pair of touchdowns on the day. The team will next travel to Valparaiso for the Crusaders homecoming game this Saturday at 2 p.m. Men's soccer looks to bounce back from a 4-1 loss to Ohio State last Wednesday night. The team has a full weekend of travel coming up, visiting in-conference foes Dayton and Xavier on October 5th and 7th, while the women's team hosts the Flyers and Musketeers at the Butler Bowl on the same nights. Both games on Friday will be at 7 p.m., and both games on Sunday will take place at 1. Another team looking to come back from a loss is women's volleyball, who beat George Washington last week but suffered a 3-1 defeat by Duquesne. The team faces St. Louis University at 5 p.m. this Saturday. Next week, the men's and women's golf teams will be hosting the Butler Fall Invitational Tournament here in Indianapolis, both teams seeking to come back after bottom quarter finishes in their last meets. The competition begins on October 8th and continues through October 9th. The men's cross-country squad left the women's team behind this weekend, traveling solo to South Bend for the 57th Annual Notre Dame Invitational. The team placed 16th in a field of 20 after their frontrunner failed to complete the 8-kilometer course. Coming up next for both squads is the last meet before the A-10 Conference Championships, which is the pre-nats meet, to be held in Louisville next weekend. Last but not least, women's swimming started their season this past Sunday in a 5-way meet held at Fishers High School, defeating former conference foe Valparaiso in dual scoring. Their next meet is on October 19th and will take place at the IUPUI Natatorium. That's it for this edition of the Bulldog Blitz Scoreboard. I'm Bethany Wersch. Have a great evening.